Now, if you're aware of the Jigsaw Discovery tool and the framework, then these will be very familiar to you. So people that have a higher preference in red, their key drivers are around that achievement, success, efficiency. They hate kind of wastage of time, wastage of resources. For people who have a higher preference in our yellow behaviours, then for them it's all about seeking out opportunities, novelty, innovation are their kind of key drivers, standing out, getting noticed. And if we look at our blue behavioural preference, it's about organisation, striving for perfection and correctness and knowledge. And with our green behavioural preference, it's about other people, it's about fairness, helping, supporting, it's about equality for other people. Do now is look at, okay, so now we've thought a little bit about those drivers for people. How can we actually play to these preferences to help our people actually thrive? So how, as leaders, what can we do to best motivate team members with each of these behavioural preferences? So again, I'll go through those. On screen at the moment, we've got to play into the preferences of somebody with a high blue behavioural preference. But we need to think about not just kind of the things that I've put there, but how are you actually going to deliver on that? What are you specifically as the leader going to do? How will you support the knowledge development of that team member, for example? So we need to be really, really clear and specific. And this needs to be very much tailored to that individual team member. It's not the same for every team member that has a blue preference. And this is where we need to know the individual team members and what really makes them tick. What are their personal key drivers? And what can you as a leader do to play to those preferences? So if we then look at our green, for example, again, how are we going to demonstrate that we care for team members? How do we do that? We talk a lot about caring for our people. Leaders talk about, yes, we care, we value, but how do you actually demonstrate that? What behaviours do you show, do you demonstrate that actually other people will then perceive as you caring for them? And this very much links into that importance of perspective taking, that as leaders we need to see a situation, we need to see our actions through the eyes of the individual team members, because the way that we perceive our actions and behaviours could be very different to how the individual perceives them. So about our yellow behaviours, again, how are you going to specifically do this? What specific behaviours and things will you do to demonstrate? So, for example, how are you actually going to create energy within the workplace or enable that energy in the workplace? What is actually appropriate fun in your workplace? So we need to, again, get down to the real kind of nitty-gritty of these things. And then our red preference. Exactly the same. We've got to see things from their perspective. We've got to perspective take. And sometimes that's easier to say than to actually do. So again, thinking, how will you stretch or challenge your team members? What specifically can you do to enable them to excel in their role? So these are all questions that we need to be thinking about in relation to our own specific team members.